Hey, you! Welcome back to hashtag growth goals. If it's your first time listening, welcome. If not, welcome back and thank you for tuning in again. In episode 2 of hashtag growth goals podcast, we are going to talk about how to find your calling. But before that, if you're someone who is into digital planning, journaling, and just want to stay organized digitally, my Best Year Undated Digital Planner is now available on Etsy. There's a link in the description of this episode, so you might want to check it out. Okay, let's start. You are here because either you are in search of your calling, or you know your calling and you want to confirm if it's really for you. If none of this is you, maybe you want some inspiration from other people, that's a good reason as well. Or maybe you just randomly selected this episode before going to sleep. That's okay as well. But definitely, these two are the main reasons why you are here listening an episode about finding your calling. And I'm sure you have experienced a moment when you ask yourself or God, what is your purpose in life? I was actually crying last night. I don't know, I just felt so lost and stuck, and I just didn't know what to do. So I cried. And I just want to let you know, or maybe remind you, that it is okay to not be okay. It's okay to not know what happens next, not know what to do. It's okay to cry and just be yourself. So I cried for maybe about 30 minutes or maybe an hour. I wasn't even sure. And I was crying because there's part of me that isn't that fulfilled. Like, I want to do something that I'm being lazy to do, but I want to do it. So I thought I was just really procrastinating at that time. But when I got to watch a video about procrastination, it says there's a difference between procrastinating and being exhausted. So sometimes we want to do something, but we feel we're too lazy to do it. We're hating ourselves because we thought we're just procrastinating. Maybe we are, but maybe we don't realize that we're just too exhausted. And now we're stuck and start to question life again. So, what I did is I let myself be weak and asked for comfort. And it was the time that I started asking again, what's my purpose in life? My life is like all over the place. What now? And so God reminded me of the things I've learned and written maybe a year ago. And those are some powerful ways on how you can find your calling. And this is what I want to share with you in this episode. First is passion. I do believe our passion is the heart of our calling. Passion nowadays has been a cliche when it comes to finding your calling. People would say, do what you love or find your passion, right? Ideally, passion is something that you love to do. But why is it so hard to stick with your passion and do what you love to do? Because in reality, passion is not just something you love. It's something you are willing to sacrifice anything just to make it a reality. Something that you're willing to give up everything just to do it. What do you feel when you're doing the things you're passionate about? Aren't you feel great? Aren't you feel fulfilled? It's the same feeling or even more when we do and live our calling. So remember, the starting point of finding your calling is to do something you're passionate about. Next is sacrifice. When we're passionate about something, we're willing to sacrifice and get out of our comfort zone to fulfill our passion. And as you discover your calling, try to answer these questions to help you along the way. First is, when it's not about the money, what would you be doing now? When it's not about the money, what would you be doing now? Next is, how will you spend your days when you only have 3 years to live? Well, that's not that exciting to know you only have a few years to live, but it's the reality. Our lives will end at some point. If you only have a couple years to live, how will you spend your days? Third is, when there's no possibility of failure, how do you see yourself 10 years from now? When life is perfect, we always make the right decisions, your career has been excellent, when your business is growing, how do you see yourself 10 years from now? All right, take note of these questions. Sometimes we tend to deny our passion when there are sacrifices involved, but this is what defines passion, right? Sacrifices and failures will always be present along the way. If everything is perfect, then there's no sense in making an effort to fulfill our calling. Now, last thing is purpose. Passion and calling may be similar in many ways, but I believe one key difference between these two is the purpose. Most of the time, passion is somewhat selfish. What do you want? What do you want to be? How would you live your life to the fullest? It's all about you. Here's the thing, your calling is not just about you, it's about your purpose that will benefit you and others as well. Most of all, it is and will always be about the glory of God. So, when you find it hard to discover your calling, try to remove that me, myself, and I mantra and ask yourself these questions. What would you be doing now to honor God? And how do you spend your days to the benefit of other people? So, again, the three things that you can consider in finding your calling: passion, sacrifice, and purpose. And I want you to answer the questions I've mentioned. Take time and see for yourself. Discover your purpose that would benefit not just you, but others as well, and that would honor God. Thank you so much for listening. To learn more about hashtag Growth Goals podcast, click the link in the description of this episode. Until the next one.